Yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Healed with Seth. What are you doing right now? You in the building. Yes. How you feeling? How's everything going, y'all? If this is your first time checking this on out, this is where you get some real life encouragement, inspiration, and tools, tricks, and tips on how to be resilient. You understand what I'm saying? There is different ways and different hills and valleys to get to where you want to be. So that's what I'm here to do. Sometimes it's me just talking to you, right? Like we're doing right now. And other times we have dialogues with other subject matter experts, meaning individuals are going to go through different things, but they have to be able to explain not only what happened to them, but what's on the other side of it, right? And that's what Healed is for. But please make sure if you're watching this, I see y'all right now, let me know where you at. If you're in the building, just type in, say hey, say hi, hashtag Healed, right? And make sure you hit the share, subscribe button. And also too, not only do I do this because I love to, but I do this because I want to help individuals. Now, if you are in the helping mood, you can always help me on out by subscribing to the Patreon, right? There in the Patreon, we have different discussions, meaning more in-depth. As a matter of fact, watch this.
I can't connect with my mom. I definitely would say I disconnect because the moment I do something, the yelling starts, and that's all I hear. So I don't do anything. I'm invisible. I don't talk to her. Then you have the other ones that just stay in trouble because they are seeking some form of attention. Yes. Doesn't matter how they get it. They just need that attention.
Even though your child is a part of you and have certain, look like you, got the same kind of walk, maybe crooked smile, this is still another individual that is born and raised in a different time. It's kind of hard to expect your child to be, to be willing or have the same type of work ethic that you have when they don't have a real reason to. Straight up. So we have different things like that. And so if you are inclined, please go to patreon.com/healed so we can get that in. So happy Saturday, everybody. What's going on? So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to have this show and my guest today, right? Tell you a little bit about how he can help you. The best teachers have the most experience. You understand? And we do have different experiences, but how are you able to put that in the right format to make it make sense for individuals? So my guest today, y'all, Timothy Steward. This brother knows everything that, especially for him, everything about anxiety. Right? Talk about pain, right? Talk about depression, but also having a desire to live a good life. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to go too deep into how deep this brother is. I'm going to let him do that for himself, y'all. Y'all give it up for Mr. Tim Steward. Talk in the building, y'all. Yeah. How you feeling, brother? How you feeling?
I'm doing quite well, my friend. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. So, hey, just introduce yourself to our audience, man. Let us know who Talk really is.
Okay. Well, first thing I want to do, Seth, is thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I really appreciate the opportunity, man. And I love the work that you do. That's how we connected. And we know that iron sharpens iron because sometimes on this road, it does get very trying. So, but my name is Tim Steward, a.k.a. Talk, speaking to inspire. As Talk, I speak to inspire, motivate, and educate people from every walk, focusing on 12 spiritual principles to freedom from active addictions and inner peace. We also take that a little further. We also use these principles to promote common unity in our communities. So, yeah.
See, I don't know if y'all heard that in the back, but common unity in our community. I love it.
Yeah. So, a little bit about my story is, I suffered from substance abuse for over 25 years of my life. I grew up on a 500-acre farm. in North Carolina, and um, it wasn't all bad, but there was some dysfunction going on in that in my childhood and upbringing, and because I started using substances at such an early age, I learned how to disguise it so I could use and function. And it took 20 years for it to absolutely bring me to my knees, to where I had to make a decision. Either I was going to stop using or I was going to die. That's it.
Mm.
There was no other. It was no look. I went to rehab 12 times, Seth. 12.
What?
I kept fighting, man. And see, and in that 12th rehab, we talked about, a little backstage about what was that point? What was
Correct.
that moment, right?
Yes.
Um, and that moment was I was sitting in St. Louis at John Cochran Hospital, VA Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and in my 12th rehab, I'm in a lot of pain, tears, 40 years old.
Okay.
I'm homeless, I'm hopeless, I'm penniless.
Mm.
I'm bankrupt spiritually, mentally, and emotionally.
Mm.
I'm sitting there. I've been in the Air Force. I have traveled around the world. I've been married. I have 2 daughters. And I feel like the scum of the earth. I feel
Mm.
like there's no hope, no help for me. And I'm at a point of where I don't know if I could really continue to live.
Mm.
And I got mad and tears were coming down my face. And I cried out to God and I said, and I hit my hand on the table, man. I was sitting in the child hall by myself and I hit my hand on the table and I said, God, why? Why does this keep happening to me? And I had this revelation. Said that drugs and alcohol weren't my problem. My way of thinking was my problem. And
Mm.
that's what started this path that I've been on for the coming up on 20 years now, 20 years free and clean and sober
Man,
from active addiction. 20 years.
congratulations, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if y'all heard this, brother. 20 years,
Yeah.
right, of making a change. And now, where are you at right now, brother?
Well, during this process of unlearning some things and relearning some things,
Yes.
Seth, here was the deal. I could exist, I could survive. I didn't know how to live.
There you
So
go.
I had to learn how to live at 40 years old now.
Oh, no, I
And
get you.
and so during this process, after about 5 years clean, I had never been clean and sober that long. My life had transitioned tremendously. I couldn't even believe it. And I asked again, okay, what am I going to do now? I've overcome this thing, right? One day at a time, right? And I had this revelation of being a speaker. I've always loved sharing information with people, and I discovered my gift. I didn't discover my gift until I was 45 years old. And my gift is speaking. When I had that revelation, I also had an epiphany of being back in the first, second, and third grade. And I always stayed in trouble, Seth.
Mm-hmm.
Guess why I stayed in trouble?
For talking.
Talking in class.
There you go. There you go.
Talking in class. So here's what I discovered is that everything, including you and I, everything was created for a purpose,
Yes.
packed with potential
Yes.
to function by principles.
That's right.
Everything, right?
Yes. Yes.
As Cat Williams says, everything.
Everything. Yes.
Right? And so that potential is what I call a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes to this planet with a gift trapped inside, but it must be discovered. And that gift, I'll give a definition. It is the inherent capacity to fulfill a function that meets a need in creation.
That's right.
See, my gift is not for me. It's
That's
for
right.
you, for other people. Your gift is not for you. It's for other people.
You
A
absolutely
bird lands here with a gift of flight already in it. Nobody puts flight in a bird. A fish lands here with a gift of swim already in it. Nobody puts swim in a fish. Okay, so we're gonna have a conversation. So I'm gonna put Seth on the spot here, y'all.
Hey, look, on my show. But go ahead. Let's try it. Let's go.
So what's the gift trapped inside of a mango seed?
The seed.
The seed is that is true because the seed
That's right.
after its own kind. But the way I kind of coach it is a tree. A mango tree is trapped inside of a mango seed.
Okay.
But what's so unique about it, Seth, is we can sit that mango seed on a table and it'll sit there for 30 years and the tree never come out.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
That gift is trapped.
That's right.
Substance abuse, active addiction had my gift trapped. And that's what we see in a lot of people in our society today. They are miserable because they haven't discovered their purpose.
So you know what? You know what? Here, I'm gonna flip it on you. You know, the other thing, that tree. I'm gonna tell you what it is about that tree.
Okay.
Once that tree is up, and it's bearing fruit, what happens is individuals come to that tree. The right people come to the tree. You see what I'm saying? Look, the tree don't walk to people.
That's right.
That's another thing that we have an issue with. I'm trying to find the right folks. Look, Nut, if you focus on your fruit, the people that want your fruit go come to it. You do what I'm saying?
The tree never goes looking for people to eat its fruit.
Man. You see what I'm saying? So when we're talking about the potential is there, but are you cultivating?
See, we were born with the ability. It's the mentality that we must develop to produce to bring the ability potential into reality.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And that's a process.
Yeah,
that's a process. And here's what I learned is that I was fighting the wrong fight, Seth. I thought, because I thought the drugs and the alcohol were the problem, I could stay away from the drugs and the alcohol. I could stay away from the people, places, and things, but I would always go back.
See,
after a while, I would get clean 6 months, a year, 2 years, but I went back.
See,
because why? I had not pulled that weed up from the root. If you have a yard and you have weeds in your yard, if you break the weeds off at the top of the dirt, 2 or 3 days later, you come back out, the weeds are going to be popped up.
Absolutely.
But if you pull that weed up from the root, it's not coming back. Now you may get some more weeds.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I pulled the weed up from the root. And so in the interim, I decided, because I wanted to be a speaker, they told me that if you want to be considered a subject matter expert, you have to become an author.
That's right.
Now, writing wasn't my really forte, but I said, hey, I want to speak, so I'm going to write this book. So I started out writing this book and said I quit twice. I quit because it would seem I didn't want to just write a book just so I could say I was an author. I wanted to write some material that a person could actually pick this book up, get some identification, some information, and some instructions on how to live a higher quality of life. I didn't just want to put some words on some paper.
Okay. Well, look here, give me a second. Give me a second. Pause right there. First, I want to acknowledge everybody that's watching right now. And also, brother, I think you got some jazz playing in the background. What you doing? What you doing? I'm hearing music in the background, brother. What's going on?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Look at you, trying to set the mood. But everybody, first of all, if y'all here right now, hit the share button. Let everybody know you're in the building. And I'm here with Mr. Tim Steward, good friend of mine. Okay. Yes. Talk, man, talk. I see you, Jennifer. Jennifer says, right? Vicious cycle. If you don't get to those roots, and you know what? I'm going to touch on that very, very quickly. The unfortunate part is that's the hard work that individuals avoid. Have you ever heard of conflict avoidance?
Absolutely.
Sometimes individuals avoid conflict within themselves. Why? Because that's the hard work. That's where the root is. You're talking about the fruit. Why the fruit ain't happening, you're not looking at the root. What's choking it? And the chances are a lot of times that's an old version of you choking the new version of you that want to grow. You understand? But you won't get down deep enough because you're afraid your feelings hurt, right? Somebody called you funny looking when you was in 3rd grade. You're still holding on to it. Really? Really? So we got to do that hard work. But anyway, let's go back into that book, brother. I want to hear how you quit, you started and you quit again and you got back to it. What happened?
Because you know what, when we discover our purpose, let me tell you something. A person, when they discover their purpose, they're hard to stop.
Yes.
Michael Jordan, understood his purpose. Tiger Woods understood. See, that process is to discover your gift, train that gift, and then serve that gift to the world.
That's
That's the greatest fulfillment any human being can have in life. Because get this, Seth, there is no substitute for purpose.
That's right.
There's no substitute for purpose. I meet with people all the time who have gone to school, invested time and money and training and making good money, and they're miserable.
Correct.
They went to school for the wrong thing.
And
right?
wrong reason.
And the wrong reason, right? The wrong motivation. And
Mhm.
so, when we discover our purpose, that's why my program, my book is Free Yourself from Yourself. And how I came up with that title was, at that 12th rehab, Seth, I had to get honest with myself and say, I'm the reason I'm here. It wasn't because of what happened on the farm, who I associated with. I was the reason that I continued to make decisions to put me in situations and circumstances of where I was at and what my life. So I had to free myself from myself.
That's it. That's it. Absolutely.
And when I did that, I moved the weed. It was like moving the weeds. So now I can see the real me, the inner me. And that's when I discovered my purpose, right? And so I've been training that, and I'm still learning, like connecting with you and learning and watching your shows and listening to how you interact with people. I'm still learning. I'm still training my gift, right?
Good. Yes.
And so, I finally put this book together. And the challenge was, Seth, is I wanted the book to be where a 10-year-old or 65-year-old could pick up this book.
There you go.
And get some understanding.
Absolutely.
So the language had to be key. Then, how do you put 30 years in a book? You can't record every single thing.
That's right.
So
That's
I had to pick out what was most important, what would be most impactful, in my message to help me deliver my gift to the world. So that was the challenge, and so, hindsight is, the title of my book is Free Yourself from Yourself, Fail-Proof Principles for Addiction Recovery, right? Now, I wish I had a different title.
Why is that?
The subtitle.
Why is that?
So, Free Yourself from Yourself, yeah, that's fine, solid. But the Fail-Proof Principles for Addiction Recovery is what I've learned since launching the book, is that some people won't open that book up. They won't lay that book on their desk. If I'd have had Fail-Proof Principles for Self-Government, which is really what the book is about, really. But I didn't have that verbiage at the time. See, we learn.
Yeah.
We learn. So that's some of the feedback that I have had since I released the book in 2020 was that, some executives or people in leadership or certain positions, they wouldn't put, who may be even dealing with substance abuse, because, substance abuse wasn't the issue, really. It was my way of thinking. And that's what my book does. It addresses root cause thinking, and that's self-government. That's the most powerful government on the planet. It's not Democrat, it's not democracy or Republican or dictatorship. Self-government is the most powerful government on this planet, because a person who governs himself doesn't need policing.
I love that. I love that, man. I love that. I love it. Yes. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, so this is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the self-governing, but this is what I want to encourage you, man, about your book. The title came to you for a reason and for a season. You dig what I'm saying? And so what would happen is, throughout time, you realize when it may be time for a second volume. Hold on. That's for my listeners. That's for my listeners on the way. But what I'm saying is, when you're at a certain season, that was on point for you right then and there. Don't never go back and say, you know what I should have did. No, I'm gonna tell you what you should have did. You should have did what you did.
That's right.
You should have did what you did, and you did it right on. But every day that we wake up, we have another opportunity to hit it. First of all, here's the thing. Did you do everything you could with that book right now? Meaning, does everybody in your immediate circle and outside of that have a copy of that book? Is individuals talking more about your book than you? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something.
That's what it is.
Well, let me tell you what happened. And I didn't even have this this vision when I wrote the book was
Mhm.
the book is like a memoir, but then there's
Good.
a self-help component embedded in it.
Good.
So I talk about my story, and then I talk about these 12 principles that
Mhm.
I use to change my life. That when I speak of self-government, I'm talking about these 12 principles. And now these principles, I've created a poster,
Mhm.
12 principles to inner peace, that I am now being distributed with school districts to
There you
help
go.
change the
See?
culture in those communities. Those principles are honesty, hope, faith,
Mhm.
courage,
Mhm.
integrity,
Mhm.
willingness, humility, discipline, forgiveness, acceptance, awareness, and gratitude. Those 12 principles are valid in
Mhm.
the classroom, the boardroom, the
There
locker
you go.
room, the living room.
There you go.
It doesn't matter if a person is male or female, black or white, rich or poor. If
See?
you're human,
That's it.
those principles are valid. They are inherent in creation. They were
Mhm.
here when we got here.
That's right.
They are universal.
Mhm.
They are non-partial,
Mhm.
and they are permanent.
There you go.
And those 12 principles. Let me tell you something. I know because I've lived it, Seth.
Mhm.
Those 12 principles changed my life,
Mhm.
and I still practice those principles today.
Good.
When you talk about honesty and hope and faith and courage, can you imagine a school system um, implementing this foundation, this common unity, regardless of the school or the city or the state? And now, because what I discovered with addiction, there's an imaginary line, and it doesn't really depend on the substance. It could be gambling, it could be sex, it could be pornography, but there's an imaginary line from recreational use to full-blown addiction.
Correct.
So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If we can
Okay.
help people prevent them from crossing that imaginary line,
Mhm.
guess how much pain and loss they will avoid. And you talked about what I do today. Seth, everything that I do today, the people that I help, it gives my life so much meaning and value,
Mhm.
because if what I do today can help somebody avoid what I went through, then it's worth it.
There you go.
Everything I lost, everything I went through, all the pain, it's worth it.
Absolutely, man. That's what I love that. I love that. And you know what? I'm so proud of your journey and also your transparency. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you're digging this show right now. We got Tim Steward up in here in the building. Make sure that y'all go to his website, support him, y'all. Check out that book, check out all those 12 principles, because like you said, those things are principles and values that will not change, right? It's like gravity, right? It's
It's a
law.
law.
There's essentially what it is law. So no matter where you go, those principles can prove great abundance if you apply them. And that's another thing too. Individuals have to be ready, Tim. Individuals have to be ready. Some individuals have the closed mindset, but speaking an open mindset dialogue, right?
That's
Like, oh
right.
yeah, no, you right, I got it. Really? Do you really? Are you coachable? Are you
Mhm.
ready to do that hard work? Are you ready
Yeah,
to let go? Are you ready to have that conversation? Watch this. Are you ready to have that conversation with the version of you that's no longer conducive to the current you that's going in this direction? Meaning, look, I need you to sit your little self down somewhere. I understand you're hurt. I'm still hurt because of that. However, you cannot go where I'm going, right? Because
yeah,
that same thought process, that same knowledge, that same hate, that same that feeling, I cannot use that old intellectual property, to build a new house.
that's right.
No, that's old. So I'm gonna build an old house. You see what I'm saying? With that
Uh,
old thinking. Some
yeah.
people don't want to let go of that because it's comfortable. So, what do you do? What type of conversations do you have with individuals that aren't ready to see themselves?
Well, here's the story. Until the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the fear of change, then and only then will we change, Seth.
There you go. Absolutely.
So if the pain is not great enough, then typically a person will be unwilling to change. I know for me, I was not going to let substance abuse, using drugs, control me.
Right.
But I had to make the harsh admission to myself, I can't do it.
Mhm.
So it doesn't even bother me today. Active addiction, I have no urge. That's been taken away from me. That's been removed from me. Today I practice learning how, these principles to live, to be an acceptable, responsible, productive member of society.
Mhm.
That is my goal. You said, what kind of man am I today? My mission, my passion, my purpose is to share information to help people make decisions to live a higher quality of life. So to answer your question, my approach is different.
Mhm.
I don't really ask people, you know, it's, let me see, how can I say this? Doesn't matter what the activity is. Let's go back to the root.
There
Let's
you go.
let's let's discover why you're here. See,
There
the
you go.
number one thing that I've learned, Seth, of a lot of our future generations and even people in our generation, the biggest problem is we don't know who we are.
Mhm.
I tell people the most wealthiest place on this planet, Seth, is the cemetery.
Mhm.
There's gifts, there's
Mhm.
movies, there's
Mhm.
books, and there's poems that went to the graveyard that we never got a chance to experience. If it wasn't for a tombstone, we'd never know they've been here.
That's true.
But when a person discovers their gift, right? Let's
Mhm.
let's discover your gift. So now that gift gives us a sense of value. It's
Mhm.
our source of value, a sense of significance.
That's
Now
right.
I know why I'm here. Now, it's like, do you handle a Cracker Jack ring out of a Cracker Jack box different than a 10-carat diamond ring?
Mhm.
You handle them different, right?
Right.
So now I'm not just, just being led off the straight because I don't know what direction I need to be going in. Once I
Mhm.
discover, my gift, now I understand my purpose. Now I can train my gift and I can fulfill that purpose. And that gives my life a lot of value. And that's what I help people do.
Love it, man. Well, that's outstanding. And you know what? You're absolutely right. It's hard. It's hard. Like think about it. You're wanting to talk to multitude of individuals, right? And you found yours at the age of 40. You see what I'm
45,
saying? 45.
45.
See what I'm saying? So 45 years old. But man, there has to be a level of willingness, like you said earlier, right? So when that pain gets to the point where, look, I am tired. So, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen, if you are in that space and you are tired, right, and you're ready to free yourself from yourself, I need you to go to Tim Steward at talkmantalk.com, right? And just check out these principles. So tell me those principles one more time for those in the back. I know it's 12 of them, but you break them on down.
Honesty,
Mhm.
hope, faith, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, discipline, forgiveness, acceptance, awareness, and gratitude.
Mm,
These 12 principles.
there it is.
It
There it
doesn't
is.
matter. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. Marriage, man, see, here's the deal. Family, Seth,
Mhm.
and I hate to go here, but I'm going.
No, go ahead. That's what it's
Fa-
for.
Family really is the antidote to 95% of the issues that plague our community.
Okay, how?
Family,
Tell me how.
family. Because that's a connection, that's a unit, right?
Mhm.
It was the first institution from a biblical perspective that
Uh-huh.
was instituted, was family. It came before education or anything else.
Mhm.
Family, because we are connected. See, we are all connected, really, right?
Yes.
And
Yes,
that
yes.
that that family was always important, right? For that connection. The first thing if a person goes and does some time, the first people they look for when they come out is who?
Their family.
Their family.
Mhm.
Now, our families can be detrimental too,
That's right.
but real family, when we really understand it, is powerful. You can't stop. You look at the Gambino families, the Italians,
Mhm.
the Asians, the every race family,
Mhm.
man. I've been to Greece, and let me tell you something. Those families are tight.
See.
You don't mess with people. So anyway, the family, the marriage, these institutions, communities are good institutions. It's the individuals that come into these institutions that bring the problems.
That's right.
So if we can get individuals who govern themselves, so you have two individuals who practice self-government, they
Mhm.
practice these principles. Now these two individuals get together and they have a relationship and they get married. And
Mhm.
so that marriage operates by these same 12 principles. And these people who are married now create a family, and that family is governed by these 12 principles. And now these families, groups of families make communities. Now this community is self-governed themselves. You live in St. Louis, and I love St. Louis. Well, I don't know if you live in St. Louis, but I see you do a lot of work in St. Louis.
Yeah.
But when I landed in St. Louis, I had two pair of pants, two shirts, and $8 in my pocket at 40 years old, and I didn't know a soul there. And I started all over. And the people in St. Louis, they loved on me, Seth, until I learned how to love myself.
Mm.
Man, St. Louis will always be very special to me. But last year, it was voted the #2 most dangerous city in America,
Mhm.
right? But if we can get these principles, common unity,
Mhm.
doesn't matter what community you go in,
Mhm.
here's these principles. Here people operate with these principles. Now, we can work together to build a stronger community, a stronger nation, even
Mhm.
with the foundation. You mentioned it earlier. The most important part of the house is the foundation.
That's right.
And that's what these principles are designed to do, is to be the foundation that you can build your marriage, your
Mhm.
life, your community, your family on.
Love it, brother, love it. And you know what I would say? I want to encourage everyone, if you cannot, right, get those individuals within your current family on par, you might have to, look for some other family, not relatives, you understand, but family. And that
Boom.
is the deal, right? Because not all relatives are relevant. I will say it again, not all relatives are relevant. There are some individuals that it just because you have the same, I would say, partly DNA, right? Even the same, look and everything, the hue, the mindset, like we said earlier, the mindset is key, right? Some individuals will bring you down because they're not ready to go up yet. So what do? Do you flounder with them, or do you start to vibe with your tribe? And that is the truth. So ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to give a nice visual and virtual round of applause for my man Tim. Hey brother, so look, just let us know, man, before we go, let us know where we can find you at.
Well, I am on social media. Of course, my website is talkmantalk.com.
Mhm.
You could just Google me,
Yeah.
Talkman Talk with no spaces, and I'll come up. But if you go to my website, all the links to my social media platforms are there. And I want to piggyback on what you said, Seth. Is there is a difference between a family member and a relative. A relatives are people who are typically connected by blood or marriage,
Mhm.
right? They may support you, they may not, right?
Mhm.
But family, those people are connected by a strong bond of love,
Mhm.
and they're always there, no
That's
matter
right.
what. They might not have no money, but
Yeah.
they'll be there.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I love those type of friends. Look, I got some beautiful broke friends right now. But look, it's okay, because the thing is this: they are paying in purpose, right? In
Yeah,
inspiration, in
yeah.
vision, in mentorship. It's some things that money
Almost
cannot
can't
buy.
buy.
You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? Money can't buy, but they're giving in order for me to continue to give. Right on.
Yeah,
So to
yeah.
your point, there's those relatives, it's connected by DNA, but the family, you're connected by purpose. They
Right.
can see it and they can dig it. Man, I want to thank you, brother, for being on. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah. Yes. Man, thank you for being on, brother. Don't go nowhere. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this show. We had Talk Man Talk up in the building, right? Make sure you go and support him. Let me make sure I put this back up here, right? Tim Steward at talkmantalk.com. Like you said, Google this man. You understand? Google him. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to make sure that you have not only a great day, but an even better weekend, because the change starts with you. Like I said before, it's not the things that has happened to you that matters. It's about what you're going to do about them. Right on. That's how we get to the road of healed. I'll see y'all soon. Later.